Managing a Caesarean scar. So when do we do scar tissue massage? How do we do it? Hi, it's Kirsten, and we're going to talk a little bit about the hows and whys of Caesarean scar tissue massage. So when do you want to start scar tissue massage? Usually after the tissue is healed. So between 2 and 3 weeks, when the scar has completely healed, as in it's not open anymore. You don't have sutures, there's no steri strips, there's no scabs. So the tissue has healed over. And that's usually anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks. And why do we want to do this? Because it has less adhesions. It won't feel like it's pulled and tucked back. Or sometimes it'll actually be raised if it's hypertrophic. And so by doing scar tissue massage, we can flatten the scar and make the appearance better, but also make it so you don't feel tugging, especially when you start to do certain movements. Some people will say that they feel the scar tissue actually tug and it feels adhered to other tissue. So let's say you're between 2 and 3 weeks, but actually you can still do scar tissue massage even if it's 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, even later you can do scar tissue massage. But best time to do it is early on, and up to about a year, your scar is sort of forming and changing. So doing some scar tissue massage, especially in the early times, is the best. So here we go. I have my handy dandy felt pen marker as my Caesarean scar. So a lot of times people say, I feel so numb above the area, especially sometimes below the Caesarean scar, or this is the incision. And this can minimize, so sometimes it's all the way up towards the belly button, and that can actually minimize down. But some of us will still have just a slight area of numbness, and it cannot just be like straight across. It'll be kind of wiggly and not symmetrical. And that's okay. It's just an area where the superficial nerves didn't completely grow back, but the skin is still good. It's still intact. So you have the scar, you have the incision, and it's healed. So no steri strips, no staples, no scabs. The tissue is now healed. You're usually towards that 3 weeks, and you want to start working on the scar so they don't have the adhesions, and it has lots of mold, malleability, I should say. So you can start with either one finger or 2 fingers, and you're going to make little circles. And for the first week, we're going to be doing little circles above and below the scar. And you can do this twice a day, so a couple times a day. Spend a few minutes just lying on your back, where you can gently go back and forth, making little spiraling movements, little circular movements above and below the scar. I am not pushing really hard. I'm not dragging at the tissue. I'm applying gentle pressure above and below the scar. So usually I say to my clients, do about, 6 little swirls one way, reverse it, come back along again. And then you get to the bottom one, and then same thing, you go down, doing your little spirals and back. You can go back and forth, above, below, again, not on the scar. You can do that, say 2 to 3 times, a couple times a day. Then the next week, you're going to go onto the scar and do the same thing. So you're actually going to do little gentle spirals. If you feel scabs there, you can't do this, right? You need to make sure that the incision has healed. So you're going to go on the scar and do gentle circles. You can do this with 1 finger, okay? You can do this with 2 fingers, and then go along. And you might even, at that point, at that 3-4 week, you'll feel like little nodules in there. And that's a bit of adhesions where you're trying to gently go through. What happens when you're building a scar is a lot of collagen's going to form. Initially, it can sort of lay down a bit higgledy-piggledy as it's trying to heal that incision. So by giving it a little bit of movement, it'll tell the scar how to heal best. So you're giving it some movement. You're going to hopefully improve the pliability of the scar. You're improving the blood flow and the oxygen to the scar to help heal it the best. and hopefully it'll lay down as flat as possible and you won't have those adhesions that can be kind of tuggy. So back and forth. This time, because we're on the scar, we want to go back and forth about 4 times and then have a rest. And you can do that again, morning and night. You don't need to drag or pull the tissue. Do that from 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks, and spend a couple minutes just working through. So you can go along the scar, and if you feel like you want to, you can even come up under the scar as well. Back and forth, doing little circles, and then above, doing little circles, and do that a couple times each way. So let's say you're at 6 weeks now, and the scar is completely healed, it's feeling really good, it's changing color a little bit, and you'll find, oh, it feels like there's areas that feel a little bit stuck down, especially at the ends. So you might want to gently pluck the tissue up. Now, I'm not pulling at it hard. I'm just lifting it and releasing and lifting and releasing and lifting and releasing to try and get a little bit more movement on there. So I'm not yarding and yanking on my scar. Okay, so please be gentle with yourselves. You're just gently plucking, your tissue up to try and get that bit of adhesion to lengthen, those collagen fibers that are glommed down a little bit, to get them to lengthen. So gently lifting up and releasing. If you have an infection with your cesarean, then some of this healing process is going to take longer. It's going to take longer for you to heal because there's been an infection there getting in the way of that healing. So only do this if it should be comfortable. There should be no pain. It just feels kind of odd, right, to touch the cesarean because it can be a little bit numb, but there should be no pain. Like I said, the incision's not open. There's no pus. There's no scabs. There's no blood. There's no steri strips, nothing. It's good, healthy, healed tissue. If you are concerned about your cesarean scar and you just want to check in with, say, a massage therapist that has had training in scar tissue massage for cesareans, or a women's health physiotherapist that's had training that way, then go see them and they can just show you that first appointment. They can treat you and then show you what you can do also. Like I said, at 6 weeks, you can start moving it around a little bit more and getting it to be a bit more pliable so that it's not bothering you. Let's say you're at 6 months post-cesarean. Well, we can really kind of get in there and do a lot more work with that scar. But if we can get there a little earlier, teach those collagen fibers where to lie down, make sure that you do it after you've healed, and be gentle with yourself. Twice a day, say morning and night, lie down, spend a bit of time going back and forth above, do that 2-3 times, underneath, back and forth 2-3 times, then going on to the scar, back and forth, and just making that tissue move a little bit, and just doing it for a couple minutes. That's all you need every day, okay? Give that a go. If you have any problems or if there's any discomfort with it, go seek a healthcare professional. It should not be sore to do this. Okay, take care.